Coming up on tonight's update, deprived communities to be developed. Planting for Food and Jobs saga, 3 detained over missing fertilizer in Sunyani. Public debt hits 200 billion Ghana cedis. Bank of Ghana to maintain policy rate at 16%. Methodist Church Ghana frowns against BMC's same-sex decision. Methodist Church Ghana remains committed to biblical tenets. Also, dangers of consuming excessively fried oil. Panafest commences on July 24. Celebration to highlight Year of Return plans. And we are back. Glad to have you join us on tonight's edition of The Update. We are bringing you stories making news in Ghana and beyond. My name is Godwin Nambo. Stay with us. Now, time to go into details. Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia says the $1 million per constituency flagship policy will develop deprived communities in the country to engender inclusive development. Addressing heads of African Mission and Caribbean diplomatic community in Havana, Cuba, at a breakfast meeting on Friday, Dr. Bawumia highlighted some successes chalked by the Akufo-Addo's government. He said the bottom-up approach adopted by government has ensured inclusive and latest development across the country so that no one is left behind.
When you look at the development history of many of our countries, you will see that a lot of the time resources tend to be captured by the urban areas. You don't get a lot of resources going into the rural areas. So you arrive and they'll say, we don't have water, we don't have toilets, we don't have this. And this is almost 60 years after independence. And how come the resources don't go to these areas? And this is why we said that, okay, we are going to take 20% of the development budget and distribute it across to every constituency in the country. We have 275 constituencies. So we say, well, let's take 20% of the development budget. That comes up to $275 million equivalent. And we say, okay, to be able to satisfy the infrastructure needs of the people in the constituencies, the deprived areas and so on, let's distribute this 20% equally amongst all constituencies. So $1 million equivalent to every constituency, and that is $1 million one constituency. This is also being done, and so you've seen a lot of infrastructure coming up across all the country. So places that have not seen development over the last 30 years suddenly are seeing development.
The program is placed under the office of the President and supervised by the Minister responsible for special development initiatives. The Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, this month issued the letters of commencement to the 3 development authorities to commence full implementation of the $1 million per constituency pledge under the IPEP. This covers $275 million for the 275 constituencies and $45 million for outstanding commitments. Now, in an interesting development, the director of Agric and 2 others have been arrested in the Sunyani West District of the Bunu region for allegedly stealing 4,000 bags of fertilizer meant for the Planting for Food and Jobs (PFJ) program. The R. Gilbert Sonpi District Agric Director, Owusu Banahene District Desk Officer for PFJ, and a storekeeper, Alberta Ajade. The District Chief Executive DCE for the area, Martin Ejay, gave the order for the arrest on Thursday after an audit team from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, MOFA, implicated them. He said as part of the ongoing audit of the PFJ program by a task force from MOFA, he was informed by the head of the team that 4,098 bags of fertilizer were missing from the warehouse, and the suspects had not been able to explain why the agrochemicals were nowhere to be found. He said the leader of the team later found his number and informed him about it. The next day, he held a meeting with some officials of the assembly, and decision to hand them over to the police was taken even before the team finished its work. The DCE later confirmed the news to DGN, saying the case was before the Sunyani Municipal Police. Now, Ghana's public debt stock has increased to 200 billion Ghana cedis. This was made known by the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, BOG, Dr. Ernest Addison, on Friday, July 19, during a press conference in Accra. He was addressing the media on the happenings of the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee, MPC's 89th regular meeting, which started on Wednesday, July 17 and ended on Friday, July 19, 2019. He noted that the country's debt stock increased from 198.4 billion Ghana cedis in April to 200 billion Ghana cedis in May 2019. According to him, the debt stock was sustainable. Meanwhile, he announced that the Bank of Ghana has decided to maintain the policy rate at 16%, revealing that there was increased confidence in the banking sector. Meanwhile, he announced that the Bank of Ghana has decided to maintain the policy rate at 16%, revealing that there was increased confidence in the banking sector. And now, the Methodist Church Ghana, MCG, on Friday disassociated itself from the unanimous decision by the British Methodist Conference, BMC, to go beyond recognition and acknowledgement to regularizing same-sex cohabitation and divorce in the church. It said same-sex relationships were neither supported by biblical teachings, nor can the Bible's position be revised to support it. Hence, the MCG rejects any revisionist interpretations of the Bible that seeks to make same-sex relationships permissible, a decision which clearly goes against biblical teachings. The MCG said the church remains committed to its biblical tenets and has not amended her position on marriage as a covenant between one man and one woman, neither does it permit cohabitation by unmarried couples, nor encourage divorce by Christians. The Most Reverend Dr. Paul Boafo, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church Ghana, who made this known at a press conference in Accra, said the decision of the British Conference was a very sad development for Methodism worldwide, given the fact that the root of the faith laid in that country. Reverend Boafo said the church was particularly concerned with the trending media reports that seek to create the impression that the Methodist Church Ghana was bound by the decision made by the BMC. He asked the public to disregard all allusions to the fact that this has to do with the wider Methodist family, that the decision does not affect the MCG doctrinal position on sexuality or any other issue for that matter. On to some health news now. A registered dietitian, Dr. Nana Kofi-Owusu, has warned Ghanaians against the practice of excessively frying oil or using the same oil over and over to fry foods for consumption. Dr. Owusu made the appeal at a health forum organized on Friday, July 19 in Accra by the Holy Trinity Medical Center. The forum was held under the theme Fats That Kill, Understanding Dyslipidemia and Eating Right, and had Dr. Seth Yaunani, a physician specialist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, as one of the resource persons. According to Dr. Owusu, the practice of using the same oil over and over to fry foods such as yam, pork, chicken, among others, causes trans fat. He noted that a high intake of saturated fats increases a person's risk of heart diseases and stroke. Studies have linked consumption of trans fats to heart disease, inflammation, among others. It revealed that an estimated 17.9 million people died from cardiovascular diseases, CVDs, in 2016, representing 31% of all global deaths. He further urged Ghanaians to reduce the level of oil in the foods they consume. And in our last story for tonight, the Ghana Tourism Authority, GTA, in collaboration with the Panafest Foundation and the private sector, is set to commence this year's Panafest and Emancipation Day celebration from July 24 to August 22. The celebration will be held under the theme Beyond 400 Years, Reaching Across Continents into the Future. The Chief Executive Officer of GTA, Akwesi Ajiman, said, Panafest 2019 offers a renewed hope for the increasing number of people wanting to come down to Ghana. Mr. Agyemang said right from independence through to the Pan-Affairs establishment, Ghana has always been the leading light for Pan-Africanism. Professor A.C. Sutherland Addy, chairman of the Pan-Affairs Planning Committee, said Pan-Affairs was established to use drama and the arts to get a story told and to also create dialogue. She said the theme for this year's celebration was appropriate as it would reflect on the idea of standing on history to move into the future and understanding why we want to go into the future. And this is where we draw the curtains, but I would like to invite you to visit our website at thedailyguidenetwork.com. On Facebook, we are Daily Guide Africa. On Instagram and YouTube are the Daily Guide Network. The update is brought to you by Press Express and Diamond Cement. Many thanks for watching. My name is Godwin Nambo. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good evening.